She disappeared on our wedding day. A year later, she came back with a baby and said, "She's yours." I didn't know whether to run or start a family with a ghost from my past. My name's Daniel. I'm 31, a mechanical engineer, and until a year ago, I thought my life was finally lining up the way I always dreamed. I had the career, a modest house in the suburbs, and most importantly, I had Emily. Emily and I met 5 years ago at a mutual friend's barbecue. She was everything I wasn't: spontaneous, creative, wild with her plans but grounded in her values. I'm a planner, Excel sheets for vacations, budgets for weekends, but somehow we fit. By year 3, we moved in together. Year 4, I bought a ring. And last spring, we set the date, May 21st. We planned a small wedding. 70 guests, close friends and family. Everything was scheduled down to the hour. And on the morning of the wedding, I was calm, nervous, yes, but excited. I remember standing in the small room beside the chapel with my best man, watching the time creep past. 5 minutes late, 10, 20. That's when the whispering started. My mother came in with her phone in her hand. "Daniel, Emily isn't answering." At first I thought, maybe a panic attack, cold feet. Emily was anxious about the ceremony. She always said she hated being the center of attention. Maybe she just needed a few minutes. An hour passed, then 2. The guests were getting restless. My uncle started handing out wine. My cousin was joking loudly, but my heart was sinking. Her family didn't know anything either. Her mom was crying, her dad pacing back and forth outside the chapel. At hour 3, her maid of honor walked up to me with a pale face and a text on her phone. It was from Emily. One sentence. "I'm sorry. I can't do this." No explanation, no call, just gone. The wedding was called off. My dad drove me home. I sat in my tuxedo for 6 hours, staring at the ring box. Emily's things were gone from our apartment by nightfall. I didn't sleep for 3 days. I called. I texted. I even went to her mother's house. But Emily was gone. No one knew where. She'd blocked me, deleted her social media, vanished like smoke. And just like that, the woman I'd built a future with was a ghost. The months that followed were the hardest I've ever known. Friends offered help, but I said no. I couldn't stand small talk or polite condolences. I stopped work for a week, and then returned like a shell, existing but hollow. Nights were the worst. I'd lie in silence, staring at the ceiling while the ring sat on the bedside table. I imagined her voice, her laugh, her smile, and remembered every detail. But there was no answer when I whispered, "Emily?" 6 months of radio silence, no messages, no sightings, no mentions. And slowly, I began to accept she was gone forever. My life pressed on by inertia. Then one day at work, I got a ping on Slack. It was a message from an unknown contact. "Daniel, we need to talk. It's about Emily." My heart stopped. I looked at the name, just initials. I typed, "Who is this?" "Someone who cares. Meet me at Jefferson Cafe, noon." Every cell in my body screamed, this is the moment. Had she changed her mind? Was she in trouble? Or was someone playing with me again? At noon, I walked into the dusty little cafe. My hands shook so badly I nearly spilled my coffee. And then she appeared. Emily looked the same, except different. She had a baby strapped to her chest, a small face, sleeping peacefully. My chest tightened. My mouth went dry. She met my eyes. "Daniel." I couldn't speak. She put the baby down in a carrier on the table. The infant blinked open big eyes, strikingly familiar, with a mole on the right cheek. I felt the world tilt. "It's yours," she said softly. "Her name is Nora." Silence swallowed everything. My throat closed. My brain tried to scream. How? Why? Emily continued. "I know I disappeared. I shouldn't have. I was lost. I found out I was pregnant just 4 days after I left. I was scared. I had no plan. But she's strong, and My head spun. A tornado of images. Wedding venue, empty chapel, my ring on the table, and now this tiny life. She looked at me, tears in her eyes. I needed you to know. I couldn't bring her here, not yet. But she's mine. And maybe she's ours. My mind flooded with questions. Why now? Why not call me sooner? Do I even want this? But her next words froze me. I named her after you. She's Daniel's daughter. I couldn't take my eyes off her. The tiny face, the delicate rise of her chest as she breathed. All at once emotions collided. Disbelief, rage, desperation, and a flicker of some primal connection. Can I hold her? I managed, voice breaking. Of course, Emily whispered. She lifted the baby into my arms. My heart stopped. I felt her warmth, her weight. My arms shook as she settled, but there was something deep and immediate. I looked up at Emily, tears threatening. Why now? I choked out. Why did you leave, and why come back, with her? She inhaled sharply. I needed to figure things out. I was terrified, of motherhood, of being a wife, of losing myself. She paused, looking away. But I couldn't push her away forever. Or you. Time slowed. My mind raced through every memory. Our first kiss, the proposal, moments I thought were forever. Now, wrapped around my arm, this tiny life who was the result of it all. Do you even want to see her? Emily asked gently. Do you want to be her father? I closed my eyes, fighting to sort through my trauma. The chapel, the I'm sorry message, the agony. And now, this little face. I don't know. My voice cracked. I'm so scared. That she's real. And I'm not ready. Emily nodded, understanding. I get it. I'm scared too. But she's already here. I breathed, feeling her small fingers curl around mine. My pulse slowed somehow. The ache in my chest softened. But it didn't disappear. I need time, I whispered. Time to understand what this means. She nodded again. Take as much as you need. I'll be here. We sat in silence, intertwined in a fragile peace. The baby stirred, hiccuped, and I smiled despite myself. A hint of something new flickered in the darkness. And in that moment, I realized the crux of everything. I had two choices ahead. Step away from a future that broke me. Or step toward building something new. A life I never expected but might just need. Over the next few days, I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face, or the baby's tiny hand grasping my finger. My world spun between I can't and maybe I must. Then, one morning, I walked into Emily's apartment, with flowers and a calm resolve. I knocked. She answered and looked at me with hope and fear. I took a breath. I thought a lot. About us. About her. About what this could mean, I said. I'm scared. But I don't want to walk away. She exhaled, relief flooding her eyes. That means more than you know. I knelt down and gently handed Emily a small cloth toy. One I'd picked thinking of our wedding day, hoping it might mean something to her daughter. Your gift. The baby grabbed it, cooed. My chest tightened. I took her little hand in mine and said slowly, deliberately, I want to try. But we need rules. Boundaries. We start together. Therapy session, shared care schedule, transparency. Emily nodded, tears falling. Yes, anything. I looked at that fragile life between us and realized two things. I wasn't ready to be a father, but I was ready to try. Because love is not always clean. Sometimes it's messy, started by mistakes and fear. But it can grow from there. I reached for Emily's hand and said, let's build this. For her. For us. She leaned forward and kissed me softly. It wasn't bridal chapel romantic, but broken trust hopeful. We sat there, planning first steps, pediatrician appointment, co-parent schedule, finding a counselor. Small things, but monumental in their meaning. And in that moment, I felt something like peace, or maybe the calm before the storm. But I was stepping forward. The first month after my decision was like stepping into uncharted territory. Emily and I settled into a tentative routine, nights evenly split, our very first shared calendar, and whispers like co-dad style floating between us. We didn't romanticize it. This was messy, growing trust, not a fairy tale. We introduced Nora to my parents over coffee. They were cautious, smiles were tentative, questions gentle. "Is this permanent?" Grandma asked. I held Nora close and said, "We're trying. One day at a time. No false promises, just honesty." At work, I shifted too, no more hiding our situation. I took leave days to be with her and Emily. My boss noticed, and instead of judgment, offered support. Family first. I realized life didn't have to fit into neat boxes. It got harder. Bills, pediatric visits, paperwork, and everyone had opinions. Some colleagues whispered doubts. Is he really stepping up? But others surprised me with comfort. Cards, coffee deliveries, a note. "If you need anything, I'm here." Then something remarkable happened. One Sunday, Emily and I took Nora to the park. The little girl toddled over, laughed as I spun her gently. Nearby, a woman peeked and said, "She's so happy with you." And without thinking, I replied, "I am too." And it was true. That evening, we held a family meeting. Us plus Nora. We talked rules, who cooks breakfast, whose bedtime, whose music she likes. We laughed when she grabbed Emily's hair. I grinned. These ordinary moments felt sacred. I got a call from an old friend, our bachelor party friend, who knew something was off. He asked if it was true. "Dude, you're a dad now?" I hesitated, then said, "Yeah, and I'm choosing to be here." He laughed and said, "Respect." That moment felt pivotal, acceptance from the world beyond. We haven't solved everything. I still worry. Will Nora ask about Daddy who left? Will Emily resent me later? But for now, none of that matters. Because trust isn't built in grand gestures. It's built in diaper changes, nightly stories, shared glances. I've learned that fatherhood didn't begin at conception. It began at decision, when I chose not to walk away. It's been 4 months since that first morning in Emily's apartment. We're not living a fairy tale, but we're building a family by design, not by accident. Co-parenting has taken shape. Dinners, bedtime stories, shared Sunday walks, medical appointments together. The calendar on my phone is full, her schedule and ours, and I'm learning every day. Emily and I talk openly now. We've had hard conversations about fear, abandonment, trust. Some days we cry together. Others we joke as we pass the baby between us like a torch. There's no rush, just a promise to keep showing up. Nora is thriving. She's laughing more, sleeping better, and I've learned how she likes her lullaby. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Even when I thought she'd hate cheesy songs. My parents have grown into grandparents who babysit on weekends, kiss her forehead, smile when she calls me daddy. Their pride is quieter now, but deeper. Work is different too. People see me now as someone who chose responsibility over escape. And sometimes, when I'm in a meeting, I see that baby photo taped to my cubicle. I catch myself smiling and remembering what matters. I don't pretend I have all the answers. I still wonder if I'm failing Emily, or if Nora will someday ask why her real dad almost withdrew. These questions keep me awake sometimes, but that's not bad. It means I care. Here's what we want to ask you, our audience, Reddit, YouTube. Do you believe families can be rebuilt after betrayal? Would you stay, even if it meant raising a child born from a broken promise? What do you think it means to be a father or a mother when nothing is perfect? Because maybe the bravest step isn't walking away. It's staying, even when you're scared to.